You should be good to go.
Hi, everyone. This is Fiona Moss, State Treasurer. Welcome to the Humboldt County COVID-19 Relief Small Business Webinar. We've got a great program coming up, but before we do, a couple of housekeeping items. If you wouldn't mind, if you are a participant, if you would please keep your video off and also mute yourself. And if you have any questions, if you could send them through the chat, that would be the best way. However, if you're not able to send a message through the chat, you can also email me at askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. Again, it's askfiona@treasure.ca.gov, and we will try to bring up your question or at least connect you with whatever issue that you have pending. So a couple of things. I want to just thank the Humboldt County CAO's Office of Economic Development Director, Scott Adair, for co-hosting this webinar here with us today. This is probably my 60th small business webinar, and we are doing all we can to bring our programs and services to the community, even during this COVID time. And so we hope that you will find today's webinar helpful. Today, I have three of my state agencies that I chair: CalSavers, our CalCAP, California Capital Access Program, as well as our CAEATFA, Sales Tax and Use Exclusion Program, as well as our small business financing programs known as Go Green Financing, who will make a presentation, as well as Xiomara Peña from the Small Business Majority, California's Program Director and National Latino Entrepreneurship Director, will also be making comments, as well as Emily Burgos, the Small Business Finance Center Manager for California's Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank. So before I introduce my guests, my office has been really busy. We used to do a lot of in-person webinars around the state, and we have been up to Humboldt and the area a number of times, whether I was on the State Board of Equalization or during my time when I was on the State Assembly. But now, today, we are bringing this to you. And what my team has done is we have really pivoted to create real-time COVID-19 resource guides. We have created guides for small businesses, individuals, nonprofits, seniors, and food access, as well as tax relief. Those are on my website at www.treasure.ca.gov. And there's two buttons. One says COVID-19 resources, which is our resource guides that we create here in the office. And the other one is our official state website, the covid19.ca.gov. And we encourage you to log on to that website for facts, not fiction, and all of the latest executive orders by the governor, the opening plans that are in place right now, as well as other important questions and answers that are there. We have also partnered with organizations. If you have lost your business, the onward.ca.gov website has about 100,000 different job opportunities for you. So we are also trying to match up those folks who are looking for employment with those companies that are ready and willing to employ folks. I also want to take an opportunity to mention the census. Every 10 years, we are supposed to let the government know, the federal government know, how many people live in our state. We get millions of dollars from the federal government, sometimes billions, as in this case of the stimulus package, where we got $9.2 billion from the federal government through the CARES Act, based on the number of people that we have registered and are counted here in the state of California. The date has been extended to October 31st So if you haven't taken the time, please take less than 2 minutes to answer 9 quick questions. And the website is my2020census.gov. And I think Gloria will be putting those websites and informational items in the chat box. Also, Governor Gavin Newsom has established a seniors hotline, and that number is 833-544-2374. And there are people who can speak multiple languages on this line as well. And I'd also like to thank your representative in Congress who's working really, really hard and overtime during this difficult time, Representative Jared Huffman. He will be presenting a video message to us after we hear from Scott Adair. Take it to you, Scott.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Fiona, very much. My name is Scott Adair. I am the Director of Economic Development for the County of Humboldt, and very excited to have your office and also stakeholders and participants from California IBank on this call today to present to our community. Last I checked, we had over 70 participants registered, and as I monitor the participants at the bottom of the screen, I see that we continue to have more join the call. I think we're up to about 60 now. So exciting to see that we have a lot of interest from the community. And of course, the individuals who are on this call are stakeholders and economic development practitioners who are working directly hand in hand with and in touch with the businesses in our community and in our county who have been impacted by COVID-19. Just a few brief housekeeping items, just again to reiterate that as you join the call, you will be automatically placed on mute. Noah from the State Treasurer's Office will walk us through the agenda and is sharing his screen. And then after we hear from the presenters, there will be an opportunity at the end of the call to answer any questions that everyone may have. And again, I also want to thank Noah and Fiona and her staff just for working with our team over the last week to put this together, work through all of the technical complications around putting together a webinar. And with that, thanks so much for the opportunity to speak.
Great. Thank you so much, Scott. All right, Noah, would you cue up Congressman Huffman's video?
Hi, everyone. Congressman Jared Huffman here. Thanks for including me in this webinar. And, I guess the silver lining of this pandemic is we have more opportunities to connect online. I'm here in DC doing my laundry in the other room, and I'm glad that you invited me to join you. Thanks to my old friend and former colleague, State Treasurer Fiona Ma, and also to Humboldt County CAO's Office of Economic Development for ceding me some time and for doing this very important program today. As the country and our economy are reeling from the economic fallout of this pandemic, we do know that small businesses have been hit especially hard, and the impacts are really substantial. According to the data I've seen provided by the county, we're talking about over 2,300 job losses, more than $44 million in economic revenue that have been lost in Humboldt County alone. And so this is a time of great need. I understand that, and we're very grateful that in this difficult moment, the North Coast Small Business Development Center is there to really shine. They've helped 917 individual businesses access local, state, and federal resources, and that includes helping North Coast residents get funds that we in Congress authorized under the CARES Act, programs like the Paycheck Protection Program and the Emergency Injury Disaster or EIDL Loan Program. I know local government leaders and community organizations are also stepping up, and they've leveraged local funds to businesses that total a very impressive $159 million. So grateful for all of that. And beyond all that, we still have work to do. And I want you to know that my Democratic colleagues and I are working hard right now to do whatever we can to obtain more relief for families and small businesses. We know that this crisis is not over. And the muddled handling of the pandemic and the Senate's wait-and-see approach to the economic crisis, I believe, is totally unacceptable. We have lost thousands of lives and millions of jobs that could have been prevented. And so we need to act now. We've got to keep this crisis from getting even worse. And I think the answer is to pass a bill that we've already passed out of the House of Representatives. The HEROES Act cleared the House over a month ago, and you probably know that it would extend federal funding to prevent job losses and business closures. There are signs that the Senate may be getting closer to finally putting its own proposal on the table, which is long overdue, although I just heard this morning that their internal agreement fell apart over unemployment benefits. The clock is ticking here, and the mixed messages and these false starts that we're seeing from the Senate are not helping anyone. And it's one reason why our next deal really has to include automatic economic triggers for key programs and benefits so that lifelines for small businesses and unemployed workers don't just expire and then get thrown into political limbo if we're still dealing with record unemployment. So I'm going to work hard to try to make that happen. And in the meantime, barring some last minute breakthrough with the Senate, I think unemployment assistance and protections from evictions and foreclosures are going to expire in the days ahead. And a lot of people are going to be hurt when that happens. The question is, how long will the Senate keep looking the other way? So where are we right now? Well, barring some last minute breakthrough in the Senate, it looks like unemployment benefits and protections against eviction and foreclosure are going to expire in the next few days. A lot of people are going to be hurt. And I think Americans understand that the Senate and the administration are to blame for this. So look, we use the term stimulus a lot when we talk about an economic downturn. There's another application of that word stimulus. It's in science. A stimulus is something that creates either a positive or negative reaction. And politics works on that exact same principle. If the American people convey their displeasure loud enough and clear enough, then Mitch McConnell will have to take the HEROES Act up for a vote, or at least something a lot like the HEROES Act, and the administration will be pressured to take action. So this is a moment where we've just all got to make some noise, and I think that definitely includes the small business community. You are the lifeblood of our communities, of our economy. Politicians will listen to you. So please stay engaged. We need to hear from you, and we need to demand action in the Senate and from this administration. With that, I want to hand it over to my very capable friend and former colleague, Fiona Ma, and your other excellent panelists. I hope you have a terrific conversation. Thanks for including me, and I hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Jared. It's nice that Jared got a haircut. I'm still waiting for my hair place to open up. In the meantime, Xiomara Peña, she is an expert, Small Business Majority California Program Director. I know a lot has been happening, and as Congressman Huffman just said, things are fluid right now. So what's happening, Xiomara?
Things are very fluid. Well, first and foremost, thank you, Treasurer, and thank you to your team for hosting this, as well as all the other speakers. You know, as mentioned, this is an incredibly difficult time for small business owners. We recognize that for everyone, including your employees and those of you that have businesses in your communities, as well as the general community, is in one way or another deeply impacted by everything that's going on. And so I'm here to really talk about, you know, what it is that our organization is doing to support you as employers, and as well as elaborate a little bit as to what we're hearing being some of the final details that we may see in a stimulus package as it pertains to the federal loan programs, which Congressman just referenced. So I'll elaborate a little bit more on that. Next slide, please. But before I do, for those of you that are new to our organization, I just want to give a quick overview. We are a national nonprofit small business advocacy group. I'm based here in California, and we do have a Northern California rep, Bianca Blomquist, who leads our work in the Bay However, she was unable to participate today, so you guys have an opportunity to hear from from the program director. Additionally, we focus on those issues of top importance to the small business community, and by that we mean those employer firms with less than 100 employees, as well as folks that are self-employed, independent contractors, gig workers. And so we try to address the top of mind issues around access to capital, health insurance, retirement, entrepreneurship, and much more. As you can imagine, being a small business serving organization, our response to COVID-19 has been by emergency responding to the needs of small business owners, trying to, in partnership with the small business development centers, chambers of commerces, and other business serving groups, get out the information as programs were becoming available. And we're still doing a lot of that through our venturize.org platform, which is a digital manifestation of the work that we do through our presentations. Next slide, please. And the way that we operate, we really tend to focus on research, advocacy, and education. Our research work helps us inform policymakers as well as stakeholders around what are the gaps. We've done several reports on PPP rollout, as well as what kind of financial programs small business owners would most benefit from. And while grant assistance was one of those ideas that was highlighted, we've seen grant resiliency funds established in various counties or cities. At the national level, we recognize what a relief that could be. And now that automatic forgiveness is being discussed for PPP, small dollar PPP loans, which I'll get into a little bit later on, just want to acknowledge that, that's one of the things that for us as an organization, understanding the needs of small business owners and helping to amplify those needs through advocacy work ultimately helps to drive forward the point. And then lastly, our educational programs are really designed to ensure that we're connecting small business owners to their ecosystem of small business support, whether that's a technical assistance group, a chamber, or another business serving entity, as well as alternative lenders that are transparent and offer affordable capital. And we do this, again, through, as a national nonprofit, we do this for free to our network. And so if you sign up for our webinars or events or on our newsletter, you will have access to, the research that we put out, educational events, and our advocacy work. Next slide, please. So I'm going to quickly run through the federal policy updates and talk very briefly around access to capital, as I know we have a presenter from the state loan guarantee program, so I won't spend a lot of time focusing on that. Next slide, please. So as a brief summary, again, we're talking about the new stimulus package, but as a refresher as to what has happened, because several of these programs are going to expire. So in the first phase, the Coronavirus Preparedness and Response Supplemental Appropriations Act provided the initial emergency funding for federal agencies and SBA loans. This was an additional resource for SBA EIDL loans and again, the federal agencies that were responding to the immediate needs of responding to the coronavirus. The second phase was really built around the Families First Coronavirus Response Act, which created emergency family and medical sick leave, as well as emergency paid sick leave, the Emergency Paid Sick Leave Act. And in this case, there were some opportunities to exempt certain employers. And so it depends on where you're at in your business and in terms of how many employees you have, where you would be eligible or required to provide this exemption, this additional paid leave or not. Next slide, please. In March, the third phase of the stimulus package was passed, and this is the most relevant to small businesses. The CARES Act really did include the significant allocation of resources for the Paycheck Protection Program, as well as the Emergency Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program, which also added the grant feature in the Economic Injury Disaster Loan, or you might have heard them termed as loan advances. So as of a couple of weeks ago, the loan advances are no longer available to small business owners through the EIDL loan program, but the PPP program and the EIDL loan program are still resources for small business owners. And there were, again, initially $349 billion in loan guarantees through PPP, which did require the loan forgiveness feature. And then for the EIDL loan, that included additional funding for the loan advances. Additionally, it added funding for 6 months of forbearance for current SBA loans, as well as capacity for technical assistance centers. Next slide, please. Once that initial PPP once the initial PPP fund was depleted, the Congress did pass 3.5 or the Paycheck Protection Program and Healthcare Enhancement Act. This included an additional allocation for the Paycheck Protection Program of $310 billion and also $10 billion for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan grants, as well as $50 billion for the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program. Again, EIDL loan advances are no longer available, but the EIDL program and PPP are. Next slide, please. Last month, we also saw the Paycheck Protection Program Flexibility Act, which added an extension for the time frame that one can apply for a loan. Additionally, it extended the deadline to bring back your staff. It reduced the threshold for payroll and non-payroll expenses, and it also cleared or gave some guidance as to how reduction in workforce would affect your forgiveness, and if good faith attempts are made by small businesses, how that would not necessarily impact your forgiveness. It extended the repayment terms for the Paycheck Protection Program, which originally was any amount that is not forgiven would be put into a 1% interest 2-year term loan. This now would extend it to 5 years at 1%, which is still, again, for the unforgivable portion of the loan. And it added a delay in payment of payroll taxes, which was previously not included. Next slide, please. So once the June 30th date hit, we got an extension for the Paycheck Protection Program, which has now been extended to August 8th. Additionally, the Pandemic Unemployment Compensation Program is supposed to sunset at the end of this week. And so now we're talking about the next stimulus package. Next slide, please. Again, I wanted to include this in here because one of the important pieces that we know folks have questions about is around unemployment insurance. So right now, as it stands through the CARES Act, there was an additional federal unemployment insurance that was allocated on the federal side, not including the state side, that added $600 per week through the end of this week. However, clearly unemployment is at an all-time high and folks are still relying on unemployment benefits. And so I'll walk through where those conversations are right now. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So I'm going to just briefly talk about where we're at on this next stimulus package and elaborate a little bit as to Congressman's remarks. So first and foremost, I think it's important to recognize that the Paycheck Protection Program, some of the potential fixes would be an automatic forgiveness of any loans under $150,000. There would be a requirement to keep records for about 3 years, as well as maintain a good faith effort as to, and there probably will be some form of documentation that has to be signed to indicate that you did use the funds as indicated. Additionally, there are some additions to eligible expenses that could be included for forgiveness, which as proposed right now would include covered operations expenditures. So if you had to upgrade to software or cloud computing or other human resources and accounting needs because of the time that we're living in now, that was something that was added, property damage control, covered supplier cost, and a whole host of other things. Another important point, and I'm running short on time here, so I won't go through any more slides, but I do just want to read out a couple more updates. Another thing to keep in mind is, as mentioned, the HEROES Act was passed previously in May. This current stimulus package looks at a smaller price tag, but with that being said, the timing and the challenges around some of the gaps that would exist passing the act as it is right now would be around unemployment insurance for sure, Paycheck Protection Program, and the federal allocation for state resources that are needed. But in terms of unemployment insurance, right now that $600 a week is set to expire. Under the Republican plan, unemployed workers would receive about $200 a week in federal assistance on top of their state unemployment insurance for 2 months. And after that, laid off workers would receive a supplemental weekly federal benefit that, combined with state unemployment benefits, would equal about 70% of their previous paychecks. Another thing to keep in mind is that that there are some additional proposals. There are no additional dollars for Medicaid. There are some dollars for coronavirus testing, but overall, the plan as it is does have some very distinct gaps that are created based on the plan that was passed in the House back in May. And so, as mentioned, this is a unique moment to leverage your voice as business owners and continue to talk about the needs that you have around maintaining supports for your businesses. And so we invite you to do that directly with your elected officials. Our organization is also looking for ways to amplify voices of small business owners through different media opportunities. And so if that's an area of interest, please visit our website, www.smallbusinessmajority.org, to learn more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Xiomara, especially what's happening at the federal level. I know Congressman Jared Huffman informed us that the Senate right now is going through the 2 packages that were passed by the House. So stay tuned, because we desperately need more assistance here in the state of California, as well as our local government. So thank you very much. All right, our next presenter is Emily Burgos, Small Business Finance Center Manager of our California Infrastructure and Economic Development Bank, AKA the IBank. Thank you, Emily.
Thank you so much for the introduction. It is quite a mouthful. We do prefer IBank. It's much easier to say. We actually call ourselves just the Finance Center at IBank, since we are an independent unit within IBank. We have been managing the Small Business Loan Guarantee Program since the late 60s, so we are very well established. But I'm here today because on April 3rd, Governor Newsom announced a $50 million infusion into my program, specifically to target folks affected by COVID-19, to help them keep their businesses open and operational, specifically targeting very small loan sizes, so $50,000 and under. That being said, there are some larger loans in the program, but we're really hoping to help those micro loans. Originally, the program was only for folks who could not get SBA assistance. When we originally made our announcement, it was prior to PPP's announcement. We have since opened up the program to all small businesses, just because we've seen that there have been a good number of folks that have been able to access SBA resources, but perhaps are still experiencing a bit of a shortfall. So just to kind of give you a brief overview of how a guarantee program works, I'm just going to walk a little bit through the steps of what a guarantee is, and then we'll follow along with my my infographic as to how you would access a guarantee program. So the guarantee mechanism has been around for quite some time. It's something that's utilized by many states. It's also utilized at the federal level. And essentially, we come behind a bank loan and we say, you know what, we're going to guarantee this loan up to a certain dollar amount or a certain percentage in case you experience a loss. So our traditional program is 80%. So if a bank, credit union, or CDFI makes an eligible small business loan, they can come to me and say, hey, I would like an 85 or an 80% guarantee on my loss. On these disaster loans, however, we are going up to 95%. So should they make an eligible loan to an eligible business, for COVID resilience, we will go ahead and guarantee that loan up to 95%. And the reason why we're going up to 95 is because these are a little bit more risky. We're also encouraging the lender to offer a lower interest rate. So the lower the interest rate, the higher the guarantee percentage, up to 95%. So most businesses are going to be eligible. There are a few business types that maybe are gray areas for us that we may need to ask some more questions, and then some that we just can't work with currently. But most businesses are eligible to apply. Nonprofits are also eligible as long as they have one paid employee. And the loan proceeds must be used to either, the proper term is cure economic injury, but we're going to call this probably for business continuance. As long as there's a direct COVID tie to what the loan proceeds are going to be used for, then it's going to be eligible. Next slide. Thank you. So the first place that you want to go to apply for a loan is actually with a lender. So we are one of the government programs that operates on the back end. You don't ever have to talk to me. You can if you want to, but you're going to have your entire relationship with the lender, and then they're going to, on the back end, come to me and secure the guarantee for the loan. So on our website now, we currently have listed all of the lenders that are participating in this disaster-specific microloan program. You'll notice that most of them are limited by geography, but we do have a statewide lender on there who is able to assist with borrowers who are located anywhere in California. And so then, as I mentioned, we will come in and mitigate some of that risk, and that will enable them to make the loan to you. Next slide. Now, as far as the loan terms are concerned, that's going to be negotiated between you and the lender. So we don't dictate any of the loan terms, but as I mentioned, the lower the interest rate, the higher the guarantee for the lender. So they are being incentivized to offer you prime plus one or less. Although I've noticed that most are offering slightly less than that. So it's been good. If you guys have any questions, I'm going to throw our email in here in the chat. Again, actually, we have an email that's dedicated specifically to answering these questions, and I have a staff member who full-time monitors this inbox. So most people are getting responses same day or next day. When you email, you'll get an automatic response that'll give you basic information about the program. Rest assured, someone is actually going through and reading your email to make sure that if you have questions outside of that general information, they will respond. Next slide. And then this is my website. You can go to this website. It'll have the infographic on the first page, and then if you scroll down, it will have the list of lenders that are participating in the program and their geographic kind of restrictions. Fair warning, I've heard rumors that our website is going to be switching over in about a week or two. This should still be the same, but the appearance of the website may change. And again, I'm putting the email in the chat box if you guys have any questions. There you are. Treasurer Ma, I believe you're muted.
Thank you, Emily. I learn something every time. So I've been telling people if you got a PPP or an EIDL, you're not eligible for the IBank loan, but now I heard that you've opened it up to folks.
Yes, so luckily we've gotten a lot of feedback through your forums and through just, our constant communication with lenders and borrowers, and we were able to request a change with the budget. So when the budget was signed, the program was opened up. So thank you to you and your team, and it just is a testament to that we are listening. And we are making changes when and where we can. It was a very consistent comment, so it was something that we pushed very, very hard for. We have definitely seen almost a night and day uptick in the program since opening it up.
That's great. I just texted a small business owner who was asking for resources, and so thank you.
We're now a resource.
Thank you.
Especially if the PPP fell short.
Okay, great. All right, our next presenter is Jamie Davis, Deputy Director of the California Pollution Control Financing Authority. We have many programs under our CPCFA, but the one she's going to talk about here today is our California Capital Access for Small Business, CalCAP. Take it away, Janie.
Thank you, Treasurer. Thank you for that nice introduction. I appreciate being here today, and I appreciate following Emily's very informational presentation. I'm here today to talk about the California Capital Access Program, what we commonly refer to as CalCAP. CalCAP was created in 1994 to support small businesses, including nonprofits, by facilitating banks and other financial institutions to make loans to small businesses. Our CalCAP Loan Loss Reserve Program provides lenders with up to 100% coverage on loans that may result from loan defaults. The maximum loan that can be made in the program is a $5 million loan, and the maximum enrolled amount is $2.5 million. Extra support for CalCAP for small business loans are available to loans made by lenders in businesses and communities with high unemployment, or those directly impacted by COVID-19. We added COVID-19. We've given additional assistance for the earthquake impacted areas, the fire impacted areas, and the power outage areas, but we did update this in March to include COVID-19. Like Emily mentioned in her program, we work directly with the lenders, and we encourage potential participants to reach out to our lenders. The lenders, we don't dictate the terms and conditions of the loans. We ask that the lenders work with individuals to come up with the best terms and conditions pursuant to their prudent underwriting standards. And I provided here a link to our CalCAP lender list. This is the link to the PDF from our website that has the list of all the lenders that participate in the CalCAP Small Business Program. And we encourage anyone who's looking for access capital to reach out to one of these lenders. Additionally, there's a note on the lender listing that if you have a lender that you're comfortable with working with, that you have an established relationship with, we are happy to enroll new lenders in the program. And we encourage them to enroll. We will provide education and training for the lenders, and we're here to answer any questions they might have about enrolling in the program and how the program works. Again, the link that I provided, the listing here, is a list of the lenders enrolled in the CalCAP for Small Business Program. Some of them, most of them are statewide lenders, and they enroll loans throughout the state. There are a couple that have regional specifications listed, once you see on the listing there. Next slide, please. The next program I'm going to talk about is a little bit different. It's still under our CalCAP umbrella, but it's a collateral support program. And this program pledges cash to cover the collateral shortfall for loans in order to enable financing that might not otherwise be able to happen because a business doesn't have the collateral that they need. So we actually provide a cash infusion to help them with that collateral need. The minimum loan would be for $50,000, and the maximum is $20 million for under collateralized loans. As I mentioned in the last slide, we provide extra cash support for businesses impacted by COVID-19 and businesses in high areas of high unemployment. We also, for the collateral support program, we also provide an additional assistance for businesses that are green or in the manufacturing business, or loans that are on the smaller end from $50,000 to $250,000. The maximum amount of collateral support we provide per loan is $2.5 million per loan per borrower. And as I mentioned on the prior slide, I've included a link to our collateral support lender list here. This is a listing of the lenders that participate in our collateral support loan program. There are some lenders that do specialize more in the collateral support than they do in the CalCAP for Small Business program. There's a listing here, and if there's a lender that a business is comfortable working with that would like to get enrolled into the program, we encourage them to do so, and we're happy to work with them in order to enroll them. Next slide, please. I provided my contact information here. Here's my direct email, my direct phone line. And additionally, I provided our CalCAP, the link to our CalCAP webpage. We have some other programs under our CalCAP umbrella, in addition to the 2 that I mentioned today. And I provided a link to our CalCAP email. We do have staff in the office taking phone calls and returning emails that we receive from businesses or potential borrowers or lenders who are looking for more information on on CalCAP, or who are looking to looking to have questions. And staff is dedicated to that, and they're here and can answer the questions. Usually if you call in the morning, we'll give you a call back that afternoon. We're also put updates on our program on our Twitter page and the different outreach events we attend. And I encourage you to follow us on Twitter. And here's our Twitter handle. I'm here for any questions that you might have, and I really appreciate the opportunity to speak today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janie. We're going to take questions at the end. But some people ask what the difference is between IBank and our CPCFA program. And I like to tell folks that if you don't qualify for one of the IBank small business loans, please look to us. We are almost like the lender of last resort. So for those that are having difficulty accessing capital, or perhaps, have trouble even banking and accessing other types of resources. So thank you both for your presentations and very important resources that a lot of people don't know about. All right, our next presenter is Miriam Joffe-Block, Senior Manager, California Hub for Energy Efficiency Financing. She is going to talk a little bit about some of our CAEATFA, Go Green financing programs, and then I'm not sure if Z is going to be presenting or just answering questions about our sales and use tax exclusion program. So let's take it to Miriam first.
Thank you so much, Treasurer. So I am a part of the California Alternative Energy and Advanced Transportation Financing Authority inside the State Treasurer's office. So even a bigger mouthful than the Infrastructure Bank. I think we get to claim that, or CAEATFA. And I'm going to talk about the 2 programs that the Treasurer mentioned. Next slide, please. So this first program is similar in structure to both the state loan guarantee program that Emily spoke about, as well as the CalCAP programs that Janie spoke about, with a little bit of a specific focus. So this is our small business energy efficiency financing program. And we are aware right now that small businesses have a ton of pressure on them, and energy efficiency is not necessarily what any small business owner is thinking about. So we understand that. However, for small businesses that do need to make upgrades and need to replace their HVAC systems or water heaters or lighting, doing so can really help lower operational costs. And the cost of that initial investment can be financed 100% through our program. So businesses can access up to $5 million in financing with extended payment terms out to 10 years. Because our program provides finance companies with a credit enhancement, those finance companies are able to approve a very wide base of businesses, as well as provide better rates and terms than businesses would otherwise qualify for. So who is it for? The program is for small businesses that in your area receive energy from PG&E, and this would include customers of the Redwood Coast Energy Authority, who's acting as the CCA or purchaser. Both property owners as well as businesses who lease their spaces can qualify, and cannabis growers and processors are welcome to apply. We don't have industry restrictions in our program. Young and newer businesses with less established credit are also able to apply as well. Next slide, please. So through the program, businesses can upgrade their entire property or just finance a single piece of equipment like new refrigerators or coolers that are more efficient. The measures also include lighting, HVAC, food service equipment, and much more. The financing through our program can also be combined with PG&E's 0% on bill financing program, which is another great option. On the right, you can see an example of an early project we've done. A bakery accessed $145,000 to do duct sealing and to replace their hood vents. And they also took advantage of the fact that they could do non-energy measures through our program, and they did some remodeling. If there are building contractors listening on this webinar, if you are a small business contractor who does energy upgrades or installs hot water heaters, we'd love to have your participation in this program, as well as our residential program if you are a residential contractor, because we publish contractors info on our website and help direct customers to you to do these energy programs. If you're a small business who needs financing, please go to gogreenfinancing.com and you'll see our finance companies and offerings there. If you're a small business who just needs working capital, then either of the programs that the previous two speakers mentioned would be the right fit for you. If you're looking to do an energy efficiency project, then our program is probably the one to check out. Although all of them, like the treasurer said, sometimes one is just a better fit than the other. The second CAEATFA program that I want to talk about briefly is the Sales Tax Exclusion Program for manufacturers. The goal of this program is to support advanced manufacturing in California. And this is a way for manufacturing businesses to purchase equipment without paying the sales and use tax. And that works out to about an 8 to 10% savings off of purchases, depending on the sales tax average at the time. It's accessible for startups or expansions. And businesses can access up to $10 million in tax credit exclusion for each project and have 3 years to use it. In the example here, you can see that a sales tax exclusion could save $1.25 million on a $15 million purchase. And we've done, oh, I'm sorry, thank you, Noah. I didn't say next slide, but thank you for intuiting there. We've done projects as small as $500,000 purchases that netted a sales tax exclusion of $25,000. And there are 4 eligible pathways for small businesses to qualify. The first of that is, that I have up here on the right, is recycling, which is companies that process recycled feedstock or use recycled feedstock in the production of another product or soil amendment. The next is alternative source, and these are actually producers of fuel or energy that replaces fossil fuel sources, as well as producers of energy efficient products. The next would be advanced manufacturing, which is manufacturing using a process that is more sustainable than the industry standard. And finally, advanced transportation, which is emerging commercially competitive transportation related technologies like electric cars or aircraft or batteries for zero emission vehicles. So to learn more or discuss eligibility, you can contact us at caeatfa@sto.ca.gov, and I will put both the Go Green Financing website and our contact information there, as well as the email for this program in the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you, Miriam. And a lot more people know about this sales tax exemption program because we were oversubscribed earlier this year. So we are trying to get more funding into the program so that we can help more businesses save money when they're buying equipment. We've heard that it is a game changer in so many instances. So we hope the small business owners will take advantage of this. All right, and our last presenter is Katie Salinski. She's the Executive Director of our California Secure Choice Retirement Savings Investment Board. So for small business owners, I know that it is expensive to offer a full retirement plan to your employees. So here is a great option to still help your employees save for their retirement plan. So Katie.
Thank you, Treasurer. It's an honor to be here with you. And hello to everyone in Humboldt County. This is an extra special treat for me today because I'm actually from Humboldt County. That's right. I can't help myself to have to show this. I am a Go Loggers. I'm a 1997 graduate of Eureka High. So my sister let me steal this out of her closet this morning. So anyway, hello, it's good to be with you. I'm the last speaker, so I'll try to be quick about this. You know, one thing that the pandemic has made even more abundantly clear is the need for people to have short and long-term savings. That is why CalSavers is here. We are the state of California's brand new retirement savings program for workers in the private sector who don't have access to a retirement plan at work. And our success depends entirely on our engagement with small business owners. So thank you so much for being here and listening to this today. And as you as employers look out, ahead to your recovery from COVID and, the churn that this has created in the economy and how you consider how to be a competitive employer out there, we hope that you will consider CalSavers as an important part of your recovery plan if you don't already offer a retirement savings vehicle. So, why CalSavers? It's, very well known, I think, fact that broadly, many, many Americans are not well prepared for retirement. And in fact, in California, we know that half of working Californians are on a track to retire into economic hardship if they can retire at all, which is a big problem. We know that one of the biggest drivers of that is that millions and millions of Californians lack access to a retirement plan at work. But we know that people are 15 times more likely to save for retirement if they can do it at work. Automatic payroll deductions, set it and forget it, out of sight, out of mind. All the research shows that that's how you get people onto a path to retirement security. And that really spans across the socioeconomic spectrum. That applies for low-income workers as well as medium and high-income workers. That set it and forget it is really, really important. So several years ago, lawmakers in California identified this big problem that we have in this state. And they set out and established a big, bold solution, and that is CalSavers. So in establishing the program, we looked at what are the barriers to entry for private sector employers? Why aren't many small businesses offering a plan? And maybe these things will be familiar to many of you. Number one, the cost to offering a plan, simply the financial cost. Number two, the legal liability that comes with being a plan sponsor. And three, the administrative complexity that comes along with researching, identifying, establishing, setting up, and maintaining a retirement plan. So CalSavers was designed to address all three of those concerns while meeting the needs of currently underserved workers. We have zero fees for employers to register and facilitate. We have zero legal liability for the employers because we, the state, are the sponsor of the plan. And we've done everything we can to design a program that's really, really easy and simple for employers to facilitate the payroll deductions. So Noah, if you could go to the next slide, please. There are a couple of really important things that I want to convey in just a couple of minutes here. Number one, this is really important to know, there is a requirement associated with the law that established CalSavers, and that is that if you have 5 or more employees and you don't offer a retirement savings vehicle already, you need to either go get one off the private market or register for and facilitate CalSavers for your workers. And again, we've done everything we can to make it really, really easy for you. And we hope that you can see it as part of your recovery plan and part of being a competitive employer. So the deadlines for registration for employers roll out over the next few years. The first deadline for the largest employers, those with more than 100 employees, is coming up on September 30th. We did delay that deadline. It was originally June 30th due to COVID and all of the challenges that are facing you right now. The treasurer and the board wanted to be really sensitive to that, so we did push that out. And then as you can see on the chart there, the next deadlines for the next 2 tranches of employers roll out over the next couple of years. But really, Noah, you can go to the next slide, please. We do want to underscore that, we are here for you, employers, to make this as easy as possible for you. Just a quick pause here on what it looks like from the savers perspective. Number one, it's an automatic payroll deduction IRA, so it's governed by all the same laws and regulations that govern any other IRA. We didn't make up a new product here. We're pulling from the best practices from the industry for decades to create this program. It's completely voluntary for savers. The options are very, very simple. All the research shows that less is more when it comes to investing. It's portable from job to job. It's open for gig economy and self-employed workers as well. And our fees are very competitive, and they will go down with time as we get to scale. Next slide, please, Noah. And really, the last point I want to leave you with is that, this was always true, but it's especially true now during COVID. We are here to help employers get the information they need to get onboarded and get registered with the program. And we have an amazing, amazing customer service and field team that is here to provide white glove service to employers either by phone or web or, previously it was on site. We have a field team who travel around the state to meet with employers, but we'll get back to that as soon as we can. And I probably need to adjust the handshake icon there on the slide. But the point is that we are here to work with employers. If you need to set up kind of a special schedule for onboarding, we will do that. We'll do everything we can to help support you as you get onboarded, and it's really quite simple and easy for you. Again, no cost for employers, no legal liability, and we're here to support you through it. The last thing I would say is that we already have, even before our first deadline, we already have thousands of employers registered and tens of thousands of savers who have saved several millions of dollars and are on a path to retirement security for the first time in their lives. So we're so proud of this, and we look forward to working with all of you to get the program rolled out in Humboldt County. Hope to see you there soon. Thank you, Treasurer.
Treasurer, you're still muted.
Sorry. So there was a gentleman in the chat box says that he is a South Fork Cub, not a logger, but loggers are cool too. So anyway, this hour has flown by, but since Katie mentioned it, we have just a couple more minutes when we talk about setting it and forgetting it. We have two other savings programs that we hope you will consider. If you have a child or a grandchild, a nephew or a niece, we hope that you will open up a ScholarShare 529 plan for them. And this is a college savings account. So if you put in money when they're born and they turn 18, you can have a nice savings account for them so that they don't have to go into student debt. And that is also managed by my office, as well as another new program, and that is CalAble. If you have been diagnosed with a disability before the age of 21, you will be eligible to open up an account and save up to $15,000 a year in your own name without jeopardizing any of your other benefits. This is significant because in the past, people with disabilities could only save in an account up to $2,000 in their own name. So this is really providing more financial independence and stability for those with disabilities. We are also working on a bill in Congress to expand the age to 46 years old, because we understand that as an adult, some people do incur some sort of disability. So we're hoping that we will be able to pass that expanded bill in Congress. So again, thank you all for participating. I want to thank Scott Adair with the Humboldt County CAO's Office of Economic Development for co-hosting with us here today. Again, if you have any questions that we have not answered or we can be of assistance, please feel free to email us. Catherine Asprey is on it, and she gets back to folks very quickly. And that email again is askfiona@treasure.ca.gov. And the last thing before we depart is we have 4 W's here in our office. And so we want to just encourage you all to use it if you'd like. 1 is wear your mask. 2 is wash your hands. 3, watch your distance. And 4, we are all in this together. So take care of yourself, be well. We hope to see you in person as soon as we are all safe to do so. So again, thank you all for participating today.